Why, hello everyone. It's Sunday, and I woke up to my phone a bunch of messages from you know who, Katrina. How you doing, Katrina?
All right, I just woke up too.
Oh, good for you. I say it's just past noon on the East Coast. It's just past 9 in Vegas, and I turned my phone off when you started calling last night because I was exhausted, and now I'm awake, and and there's a lot of people who watch football, including me, and it's a fun game. And you have bet before, and I've had my biggest win ever when I was with you. Also, you are very lucky. So we're gonna go over the football picks. You have $21 hanging out in a William Hill account, is what you told me. I thought that's great because that's some throwaway money for fun. So we can actually go through the NFL algorithm like professionals and come up with some very interesting bets and then create a round robin that might pay something very reasonable that might cover rent if you win. Turn that $21 really into something. So let's do that. Are you ready for some football?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the algorithm has been updated with the injury report, and I've worked my butt off on it. It's going to do good things. There's a game going on right now in England, I think, in somewhere in Europe. It's a
Yeah.
morning game, and
Yeah.
it's the Vikings and the Saints. And we had the Vikings winning 22-9, but I did a video that some people have seen and some people haven't seen, talking about how the algorithm works with each team because I've gotten to know the algorithm so well. I've gotten to know the algorithm better than you, Katrina. I've known the algorithm a lot longer than
Yeah.
you. Many years. And it doesn't do the team, the Saints, very well because they have a really weird, a cool player named Taysom Hill who plays quarterback and tight end. They call him the Stormin' Mormon because they believe he's Mormon. He screws up the algorithm's calculations because he's a multifaceted player. It's like a pitcher and a hitter. He does two things, and so the algorithm screws up that team a lot. And I told everybody to stay away from this game because I was confused about what was going to happen because the algorithm doesn't know New Orleans, and it is doing a weird thing. And Minnesota is losing, I think, right now. Whatever. We don't have to worry about that game. That game's going on right now. We're going to talk about the other games. Um, so first things first, the big pick of the day is the Eagles. And the Eagles are supposed to absolutely destroy Jacksonville, Philadelphia. So on your William Hill app there, one of the picks you're going to have is going to be the Eagles in some fashion. Can you look at the Eagles Philadelphia Jacksonville game on your phone and come up with go to like more NFL or whatever, or like open up there's a bunch of different bets,
Yeah.
and one of them might be Eagles team points or something, or there's going to be alternate spread lines that are available. So like instead of Eagles -6.5, it'll say like Eagles -10.5, Eagles -12.5. Like there's all kinds of things you can choose that are going to have better lines than the -255 or even worse that it is right now. I don't know because I'm not looking, but um, I mean I can look at the same time. Actually, let me do that.
Yeah, William Hill.
Well, you're making the bet with your 21 bucks. I want to give everybody a $20 bet that, because that is kind of throwaway money for a lot of people. It's a cost of a truly 12 pack or whatever, right? Like this is the beer you're having for the game is a bet amount that I think is a reasonable amount for people to lose and not think that they've lost the rent on their house, right? Like and you can turn this into reasonable money. We're going to talk about how to find good lines for outcomes that the algorithm says has a high potential to occur. So all we're trying to do is we're trying to go with what the algorithm is pointing to and finding where there's value in the betting market. Because the betting market is essentially a crazy, crazy market where you can wager all types of different payouts for all types of different outcomes. It's almost endless. And and the algorithm is trying to put us in the right direction. It's saying the Eagles really win the game. You can bet the Eagles, but every $25 you bet, you only get back 10, I think, is what -255 means. And so if you bet $1, you only get 25 cents back if they win. And so that's not the bet you really want, although you do want it. I mean, I can talk out of both sides of my mouth here because you want winning picks on your round robin, but you also want to get paid. So because we're only going to wager $21, I'd like to get paid on this ticket if we get everything right and not just make, $40. I want to make 1,000 on this 20 bucks. So when open up the Philadelphia game and tell me what the alternate spreads are. Like Philadelphia minus 13 and a half. What does that pay? Or Philadelphia team points. Is there a Philadelphia team point number that's probably around 20, like 30 or something, 29 or something like that? Can you see within the football game menu on the app? I'm looking on another screen right now, but I'm not on William Hill. I'm on FanDuel.
Yeah. So William Hill alternate lines, I don't know if they're necessarily really very good at all. I don't really see any. Like I see some, but there's like first half NFL football.
All right, let's keep it simple then. Do you see where it says Philadelphia minus what, 6.5 or 7, or what does it say?
Yeah, it's -6.5.
Okay, that's the one we'll go with, which is they win by a touchdown or more, because the algorithm says that, and the line is okay. We're not paying -255. We're paying, I see -112 on FanDuel. That's what it says. So choose that one then. Philadelphia minus 6.5. Algorithm says they win the game by 34 points. So either the algorithm's wrong or the algorithm's right. Next one, Indianapolis. It says Indianapolis crushes Tennessee also. At home. So you go ahead.
What are their two names?
Colts and Titans.
Okay.
Mhm. Nice. Well, it says Tennessee it says Indianapolis minus 3.5, but I personally don't like Indianapolis, and Tennessee's been in a bad rut. Oh God, you're supposed to listen to the algorithm. I mean, son of a bitch. Okay, how about this? So the over-under for this game is set at 43 points, which is apparently really low for what the algorithm says happens in this game. Algorithm says there's 52 points. So you can bet the over 43. Do you see that next to is there an over-under total somewhere on what you're looking at?
Yeah, is that really a big difference, a 10-point difference in football though?
It is when the over-under is set at something pretty, I'd say fairly low at 43. So essentially the reason why I'm pointing this out is personally I have a personal bias against Indianapolis. So if you're just listening to the algorithm, you're supposed to take Indianapolis to win, and you're not supposed to listen to me. But I'm pointing out something else that the algorithm's also doing, which is it's saying this game is so skewed if Indianapolis puts up more points at home, and Tennessee's having a lot of difficulty this year, that the 52 points it's projecting for this game, that is a significant difference. That's 25% more points than the odds makers have it set at. And if you were looking at margins in the projections about differentials between points, that is like the second best in terms of differential of all of them. That's really good. And it's also saying they think Indianapolis is a good defensive team, and they think Tennessee is not scoring. And so people think this game is going to be like 21, 22, 23-20, which is how they get the 43-point total. We're saying Indianapolis actually blows it out of the water and gets more at home, which is why the game goes over. And if for some reason Indianapolis's defense, which is, by the way, 15% hurting, and Tennessee's defense is 20% hurting, if these defenses fall apart, our over also wins if Tennessee comes back and beats Indianapolis, like I might be thinking, because they haven't won a game yet. So there's two, in both outcomes, you hit the over if that happens. So the over is a good bet. Actually, the alternate over is a great bet, but I don't even know if you can see that in the breakdown of the game if you open that up. I can see that. When I go into the detail of the game and I click on the game, there's an alternate total points, which I would say you can go above 46.5 even. There's a 47.5 at plus 176 or 4. I'd say you can go over 45.5 at plus 132, because it really thinks that this game puts up points, and I see why. But just for the point of looking at the over under of the game and available, you go over the 43 or whatever.
Yeah, it's
42.5. It's 42.5 on my thing. Yeah, I mean that's doable. I'm gonna take the I'm gonna take. I'm crafting my own bet right now. I'm gonna take an alternate over 45 and a half at plus 132 is what I'm taking. But you can take the over 42 and a half at what, minus 110 or whatever it is.
Uh, yeah.
Versus Tennessee over 42.5. Okay. So that's a pick. Let's keep going. Next is the Giants and the Bears. And algorithm likes the Giants to win this game, and the line is not that bad. I like the Giants, but that's the curse of death. Whenever I have an instinct to like something, it loses. It loses horribly. I'd say that this is kind of the two bad team rule. There's a two bad team rule I have, which is you don't play a game with two bad teams because they're both bad. So they one of them is going to lose it to the other one, and you might not. Teams don't know how to win when they're bad teams. So in that sense, the algorithm says they win. I'm going to skip over it for now because I'm confused. The next one is the Green Bay Packers and Patriots. Ooh, this changed a little bit. Ooh. You. I already bet this game. I bet the Patriots plus 9.5. But it's saying, gosh, it's saying no points in this game. Weird.
Why is the Packers minus 500?
Why are the Packers minus 500?
Yeah.
So the city of Green Bay owns that team. As when I was there, I found out. and they, when that team plays at home, they essentially have the government behind them, and they win a lot. And so everybody and their mother and their family and everybody in the town is all betting on the Packers, and that actually affects the line. Because an entire town is literally betting on them. Like they own the team. So why not bet on them? But this is exactly the same thing. And they have Rodgers, and they just play great at home. You got to remember that in football, there are crowds screaming at you as loud as they can when you're trying to hike the ball as the visiting team. It makes it very difficult for your team to hear you. You react later when you start on the line when you can't hear. So there's a lot of home field advantage is really something that comes into play in football in the game. You're part of the game almost. So that's one of the reasons why teams win more at home. The algorithm does its best to project stuff with home. So it's saying the Packers can win this game actually by close to 9. So my bet of taking the Patriots plus 9.5 is actually, I'm kind of scared I did that now because score just changed. Now it does say under by a lot, but the over under is set at 40, which is super low anyway. It's a tough game. I'm just gonna gloss past it because I don't know what to do with that. I would take the under because there's 12 point. You know what? We're supposed to do that. We're supposed to do that.
What?
Take the under. It's set at, it says the score of this game only has 28 points, 17-11, and the over under set at 40. So I mean, I got to kind of listen to that. That's even though I don't like it because the over under is already one of the lowest over unders of any of the games of the day, but it says this game has no points. So I think you're supposed to bet that. Mathematically, it's up here on the list doing that. So let's do that.
Why would they not score?
The defenses are apparently good, and the offenses have issues. Like these are two, like Belichick, the guy who coaches the Patriots, is known for being like a chess player, basically, and he will create lower scoring games sometimes. Why Green Bay doesn't score is an interesting phenomenon. I don't always know everything the algorithm is doing and why, but it just does, and so that's why I'm looking at. I mean, I understand why this could be a low scoring game. Patriots can hold teams to fewer points than normal. And something about Green Bay not scoring is weird there. But it's even the alternate score has the game at 15-10. Like there's no sign that there are any points in this game anywhere. So how do you not take the under? Because it's saying it's 12 points less than the published over under. So like, how do you not take that? There's no other game that's 12 points under the prediction. Actually, there is. the Tampa Bay Kansas City game, and actually the Seahawks Detroit game. That's a really good one. That one you have to take the under. So go to the Lions Seahawks game. That one we have to take the under, and I'm taking an alternate under. That because I talked about one in the video, and that you have to do that one. Because it's saying Seattle slows Detroit down, and everyone thinks Detroit scores a lot of points at home, but it says it's not going to happen that way. All right, so you look at that, you find that game, the Lions Seahawks, take the under 48. Is that what it is?
48 and a half.
48 and a half now? It's unbelievable.
Well, William Hill's just
What's that?
William Hill's like just it has like half more or usually for whatever they said. They just add like a half more or something. So if it's like 5 and another half, it's gonna be a little bit more.
Okay. Well, they'll vary throughout the day. All right, so that's a game. Going back to that Green Bay Patriots game, I guess we'll skip over it. The only thing against taking the under is the fact that it's one of the lowest published unders of the day. So like you're trying to bet against the theory of the odds maker. So if they've already got this as the lowest one of the day, essentially there's not supposed to be as much value there. So we can stay away from it for that reason, but we're not supposed to stay away from it really. It says bet the under. So I might do that on another ticket or something. Next game, Chargers and Texans.
Should I take that under though?
I would. It's under 40. I mean, it's yeah, we're supposed to. I mean, I'm gonna add it on there. Green Bay versus New England under 40. I'm gonna look that up on FanDuel right now. See what that says. See if it's changed. That game, Green Bay. Where are you, Green Bay? That's October 9th. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. That's what's 4:00 something game. It's under 39 and a half, actually. Not even 40. It's what don't. I'm not gonna do it. Okay, because it's set too low already. You're not supposed to follow the odds makers. That's not what we're doing here. We are finding where there's value. There's not enough value there, even though it thinks the game's going to be really. You do an alternate under of like minus under 30 that pays a tremendous amount. That's actually what I'll do. Is if the algorithm's really right, you want to get really paid. So I'm looking at an alternate under, which you could dig through on William Hill or not. I'm doing under. I'm going to do under 23 and a half is plus 1,000. Under 25 and a half is plus 800. Let's do the under 25 and a half. Under 25 and a half is plus 800. Let me show you what kind of craziness that gives you. Under 25.5. This is an alternate under. And this thing pays plus 800. It's an 8-1. So if there's this ridiculous 10 to 15 game, like it says, and this thing stays under, I'm going to get an enormous payout if I get these other picks right. And you're not doing that. You're not doing anything in that game, right? Because it said basically don't take it off. You either want to do what I did and hit it hard or not hit it at all, because the odds makers are too low with that over under.
Was that a team under the one that you 25 and a half? Or that was a game under.
Yeah, it's an alternate total under. Yeah, it's called alternate total points if you're looking through that menu screen. If I don't know if that's what it looks like on William Hill, but it's going to be something like that.
Well, that's the thing is William Hill doesn't have a lot of options.
All right, then they don't. Then let's keep it simple. Another reason not to play that game. All right, Chargers and Texans. Too close on the spread in this game. I'm scared of this game as well. I'm just going to stay away from this. It says Chargers, but it doesn't know how to bet the game because it's exactly the spread is what it says. So we won't do that. Tampa Bay and Kansas City. Super under. Wow. Well, this is one that says take the under.
What are the team names?
Buccaneers and Chiefs. And it also says Tampa Bay, but there are injuries. This is what happened in the other game. Tampa Bay played Green Bay. Buccaneers played Green Bay in Tampa Bay last week. It was Brady versus Rodgers. It's a big name matchup in football, and it was a low scoring game. And it's saying the same thing here with Brady versus Mahomes, who's another big quarterback, because the Chiefs don't have some of their weapons they had last year. They're not the same team. So you want the under in this game. I think the under is as good of a pick as the Bucks here. The Bucks are at home. Wait, are the Tampa even playing at home? Like, there's like a hurricane Tampa Bay. Is that game even happening there? I don't know. I don't know. I would imagine they might have moved the game or not. I don't actually didn't hit Tampa Bay as much. Now it's probably in Tampa Bay. The over under is set at 46.5. You take under. So take the under in that game. Buccaneers Chiefs under 46.5. Because it says there's only 33 points in that game. So that's 12-point differential, 13-point differential. So yes, under. So we're doing that. You don't have an alternate. So this is your tickets. This is Tampa Bay versus Kansas City under 46.5, it says.
Yeah, but I mean, to it is the line not that much different from the money line.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, but it's a different outcome. It's saying that the game is kind of close and decided by a field goal, and Brady's old and getting divorced, and Mahomes is newer blood. So Kansas City might win. So it's better to take the under apparently because they're supposed to keep the points down much different than the odds makers say in that game. That's why, because the over under set at 46.5, not 40 like that Green Bay game. The overs that you get 6.5 points more to be under, and so that's why it's a better pick than the Green Bay one. Okay, the Jets and the Steelers. I have a personal disdain for the New York Jets, and I refuse to play them. It says they beat the Steelers, and it's an underdog. Do you want to take the Jets because the algorithm says they win? It's in Pittsburgh, which is crazy. You can take the Jets plus 3.5. We do that. I don't take the Jets. I refuse to take the Jets.
Plus 30 and even.
Is it plus 3 or plus 3.5 on the thing?
Plus 3.
Oh, so that means you tie if they lose by a field goal. It says they win. Okay. It says they win. The win line is what? Plus 150?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to take according to the algorithm. It doesn't make any sense empirically to people that watch football because the Jets notoriously suck and the Steelers are a franchise with a really good coach. So it really seems like the Jets would not win that game, but the algorithm says they would.
Okay.
And it's the first time the algorithms picked the Jets this year. So you take them? It's up to you.
Sure.
All right, take them. So what's the line? God, we're betting on the Jets.
150.
150? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right. Well, watch us go down with the Jets. Next, Ravens and Bills. This is a very interesting game. So there are defensive injuries. No, Buffalo's defense is not as injured as it was earlier in the week. Interesting. It's Cleveland now. Ooh, that changes things a little bit. But Baltimore still wins this game. I made a bet on this game with the over, and now I'm a little concerned, but shouldn't be. So here it says the Ravens beat Buffalo, and because the Ravens beat the Bills. Very close game though. The Ravens plus 3 is the bet I told everybody to take. I'll tell you to take that too, because it's consistent with what's happening here. You can also take the over, so it's up to you. Or you can take the Ravens to win. You got 3 things you could do here, which is at a better line. What are you feeling frisky? Are you feeling are you wanting to trust the algorithm's team of reference and the team that it picks to win the game because the algorithm is kind of good at that? Do you want to take those 3 extra points because that gives you a better chance of winning the bet? You got 3 ways to look at this game. What do you want to do? Do you want to get paid or do you want to win the pick more frequently? That's the question I should ask you.
I want to win the game.
You want to win the game? Then take Baltimore plus 3 because that gives you the best chance of winning that pick. and that'll be at minus 110.
105.
Minus 105. Okay, Baltimore plus 3. We got one more pick to hit 7. You already took the under in the Lions Seahawks game. I believe I told you to do that. We got Washington and Dallas. Denver and the Raiders. Oh, the Cleveland Atlanta situation. There's a lot of interesting stuff down here. There's a lot of interesting things. Man, what's the best thing to take? I think it's Denver over the Raiders just to win. So Denver has a quarterback who's a Super Bowl winner. I used to play for Seattle and got traded. He's a very respected and good quarterback. The Raiders are 0-3, and you can get Denver at a plus 125 line. And it's just like, if you'd like to bet on a team to win, will Russell Wilson pull it out and beat the Raiders? There's a good chance. The algorithm says barely that it's within a field goal game, but they're supposed to win. So Denver to win. You could also take Washington to win, which I would not do against Dallas. You could take Carolina to win, but this is a too bad team rule, kind of. Carolina's not good, and the Cardinals are not good. The Cleveland Atlanta game is really interesting, but that's bet on injuries and stuff, and you kind of got to bet on a team that sucks. Also, bad team, sort of. So it's Denver. It's Denver to win. Yeah. Broncos. So that's what, plus 120, plus 125?
125.
Okay. So you have 7 picks in there, right?
Yep.
$21. If you did just the fives only, it would pay $718 profit, $739 gross. And it would cost you $21.
For how much do I bet?
Just $1 on the fives.
Oh.
Even though you said you have a 2-cent minimum, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would just do that and be done with it. Either you're going to have a good day, and let's say that, for example, the Jets lose. If the Jets lose, you get $176. And if the Broncos lose also, you get $25. You win like $4. And if you lose another game and you go 4-3, you lose everything. You lose your $21. So that's one way to make this bet. I think that's kind of a fun way, because you got to have a good day to get paid anything 5-2 or better. But that's what you're supposedly doing, is doing this right. Philly minus 6.5. So you could do that, or you could spread out your $21 over different levels. You could do that. You could bet. I always like to bet $1 on the 17 parlay just to show what it pays. So that's 100. It pays 144 to 1. So $1 on that. I'll put 50 cents on the sixes. I'll put 25 cents on the fives, and 20. Yeah, you can do 30 cents on the fours, and that's a little more than a $20 bet overall. If you did, I know I said that kind of fast, but can you easily do the different sets of round robins in your browsing of how you can put in the money?
Yeah, but then I'm in this tower, and my reception's not
all right. So I'll tell you what, do just the fours, okay, and do 60 cents. 61 cents, actually. You have $21.35 in there, right? If it's $21.35, you do 61 cents on the fours. That's exactly $21.35. It pays $370 if you win all of them, which is a little different than doing the $1 on the fives, which paid $700. That's why I kind of like it better. Now I like the fives better, because either you have a good day and go 6-1 or better, or you don't. And I like the payout here. I like 34 to 1 on your money, which is what this pays if you play just the fives and you get all seven.
Oh gosh.
You could try to get all seven. If you put $21 on all seven, you get $3,000 if you hit them all. How about that? But then you're going to lose everything if you lose one. You could do $3 on the sixes and get paid $1,500. How about that one? That's kind of cool. I like that one. You lose one game, you get still $173, but you lose two games, you lose everything. We spent a lot of time coming up with these picks though. So we're supposed to win most of them. And I mean, I say never take the Jets, but you took the Jets. So allow yourself to lose the Jets game and still make money. Do that. Do $3 on the sixes. I mean, this is a fun Sunday. I mean, you're either going to lose and not pay attention to it anymore and not worry about it, or you're going to follow this all the way to the end of the day because you'll have like a, $1,200 swing on the last game and you'll be watching it, even though you only bet $21. That's what I find enjoyable about this, because it's, even though you can lose potentially $1,200 on the last game, you didn't bet $1,200, $21. So it's fun that way. I find it anyway, and not nerve-wracking. Anyway, so what are you going to do? Are you going to do $1 on the fives, $3 on the sixes, $21 on the sevens, which is crazy? I wouldn't do that. But the $3 on the sixes is hilarious. I'd say do that. Because what if you lose like the first 2 or 3 games anyway? You've lost everything anyway, even if you played for the fours or the fives. So it's kind of like you either get, like, you are not going to get them right every week, but you will have a week where you get 7. I have at least a week or 2 every NFL season where I get this, top 7 picks, or the algorithm just annihilates it. It gets almost everything right. That does happen. So when that does happen, you want to get paid 70-1, which is what happens here if you bet the sixes and hit all 7. So it's a complicated math question. I don't really totally have the answer. I just know what I enjoy doing. And you should always say, well, what happens if I lose everything? Because I might lose everything today because it's gambling. So we established this is $21, and that's acceptable. So what makes it fun for you? At 1,500 is fun. I mean, 300 is not fun for me, actually, on this bet. Because if we did just the fours and it pays 370, I'm not going to be all that excited on the last game.
Do you remember my picks were? Because it just crapped out on me.
You got to redo it. Well, you got eight minutes till those games start.
Oh shoot!
So they should still stay logged in there.
No, it's
completely gone.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I could end the video and then you can rewatch the video and figure out what they were.
Actually, after the video, end the video and then tell me.
What? I actually have. I'm looking at it right here. Also, I wrote them down. So I'll send you a snapshot. I'm going to end the video and I'm going to publish it. It's a 42-minute video somehow. Our phone call is 42 minutes. The video is less. Yeah. I'm going to publish that, and that's our podcast for the day. We'll get some watch hours. People will like this, I think. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I'll end the video for everybody. There we go.